Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Faculty of Arts, Design and Architecture. I would like to acknowledge that I'm joining today from Bidjigal land. This land has been safeguarded by First Nations peoples for tens of thousands of years and reflects generations of wisdom. I pay my respects to the Bidjigal people and all First Nations peoples, including those who may be joining us today. So over the next hour, we want to welcome you to the Faculty of Arts, Design and Architecture. You will hear over the course of this hour from some of our staff and from two current students about life in the faculty and the opportunities that you have while you're studying in the Faculty of Arts, Design and Architecture. You'll learn about our excellent education and learning experiences, about the physical and the digital environments that you have access to, and get advice on how to make the most of your time here, how to make friends, and how to access support. Because at some point when we're studying, we will feel lost, we will need help, and we will need to know who to reach out to when we need that support. But let's start at the beginning. Who are we? Who is the Faculty of Arts, Design and Architecture? One of the things that we love most about ADA is that we are known for our rich diversity, our rich disciplinary diversity, the way that we bring together knowledge across 6 different schools. The schools in the Faculty of ADA are Art and Design, School of Arts and Media, Built Environment, School of Education, School of Humanities and Languages, and the School of Social Sciences. And also ADA as a faculty is spread across 2 campuses. Here in Kensington, where I am at the moment, and we also have a campus in Paddington, where our School of Art and Design is located. And you can visit both of these in person, and I really, really encourage you to do so, because all of the spaces of ADA are your spaces to learn and study and do whatever you want. You can get from Kensington to Paddington by a shuttle bus that leaves about every 20 minutes. And that's free, and it just gives you an easy way to switch between the 2 different campuses. In Arts, Design and Architecture, we've got some incredible facilities that I just want to spend a minute bragging about. The first is our amazing Esme Timbry Creative Practice Lab, which is down near Alumni Lawn, and that's one of my favourite spaces on campus. You'll also come across our Design Futures Lab, other maker spaces, both here in Kensington and in Paddington on our Art and Design campus. In Paddington as well, you'll find UNSW galleries, and there's some incredible exhibitions on at the moment, so please feel free to check those out. And we also have a number of different research centres across the faculty, as well as our 6 schools. And as you're studying with us, you'll get opportunities to take part in activities, get involved in a range of different research, creative, and educational experiences. So welcome to this faculty that is now your home. It's diverse. Our faculty is a diverse one. As I said, the disciplinary diversity is the thing that I love most about ADA. But our vision is one of unity. This is your new home, and this is your new community. The vision statement for our faculty is that through creativity, collaboration, and inclusion, we seek and solve problems to improve life on Earth. And that is hopefully the vision that you will keep in mind as you're studying with us in ADA. Our mission statement for the faculty is to listen, challenge, create, and share diverse knowledge about people, place, and cultures to enable lives with purpose. And that vision and mission are really important to us as a faculty, and they sit within the broader mission of the university, the UNSW's motto, which is knowledge through hand, mind, and heart. And those 3 components of the university motto are really important to us in ADA. But what does that mean exactly? So when we're talking about mind, that part of the motto, what we're talking about is confidence in the power of ideas. You will be joining an environment that is conducive to academic excellence, but it's also one where you can expect to be challenged and for your mind to be stretched and to think about things in ways that you haven't before, or to explore ideas or perspectives that are just completely new to you. And what we love most about ADA as well is that the ideas that you bring to us are going to challenge us, and they're going to make us think differently. And we learn from and are inspired by our students every single day. The hand part of the UNSW motto really gets at professional skills for the future, and that's what you're going to be developing in arts design and architecture alongside your academic learning. We have a pioneering spirit at UNSW of problem solving alongside industry and community partners. You'll have opportunities to take part in work integrated learning or professional learning, so doing a placement with industry or a community organisation. And there'll be lots of opportunities for you to take up where you can already start, while you're studying, practicing the skills that you're developing as part of your degree programme. And you'll be doing that within the classroom and outside the classroom. You'll be gaining the skills that you need for your professional future. And one of the things that we are really proud of at UNSW is that our graduates go on to get jobs. We get a really high employment rate for our graduates, and they're very much in demand when you leave. So those professional skills are really important. The third part of the university motto is a heart. So it gets at the fact that we are a supportive community and one that's really committed to making a difference. The diverse community and the supportive culture within the Faculty of Arts, Design and Architecture is what makes it a really vibrant and safe place to be. This is something that we're committed to, creating an open and inclusive campus. I meet on a regular basis every fortnight with my shadow board, a group of students who tell me what it's like and what it feels like to study in the faculty. And we also meet regularly. I also meet regularly with Winangala Guru Guru Bar, which is the indigenous voice in the Faculty of Arts, Design and Architecture. And we're here to help. It's a creative, vibrant, open and inclusive faculty. And you're going to find welcoming communities where you can build lifelong relationships that will help you thrive personally and professionally. And as I said, when you need help, you need to reach out for it and it will be there. That is our commitment to you. So welcome. We're delighted that you're here as a new student joining the Faculty of Arts, Design and Architecture, and I wish you all the best for your studies in this term and in the coming years. I'd now like to introduce you to Associate Professor Stephen Doherty. He is our Associate Dean Education in the faculty, and he is going to speak a little bit more about your learning journey with us in Arts, Design and Architecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire, and hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome, whether you're here with us today in person or indeed online. A very warm welcome to all of you. My name is Stephen Doherty, and as Claire has just mentioned, I'm the Associate Dean for Education. That's actually my fourth week in the role, so I'm really looking forward to exploring a lot of what you'll explore together as we both navigate all of these exciting spaces and opportunities in the faculty and at UNSW more generally. So what does an Associate Dean do? Well, essentially, I'm here to help support you and encourage you along your learning journey with us. And that can be around giving information, accessing support services, giving advice, and pointing you in the right direction when you need it. Essentially, whether you're an undergraduate program student, a postgraduate student, or a research student, whether you're here with us in person or online, a very warm welcome. And I really want to stress how much ADA really values all of the unique contributions and experiences that you're going to have with us in the coming term and in the next couple of years as well. Reflecting upon what Claire has just been saying about the vision for the faculty, I'd like to talk to you about 3 different aspects that I think are really at the core, at the heart of what we do in ADA, and that is challenges, collaboration, and creativity. It's really what make us tick, and I'm sure some of these things might speak to your passions and interests as well. ADA is home to truly world-class educators, researchers, and practitioners, and a really unique and diverse range of disciplines. We saw the list of schools just a moment ago, and underneath each school is really a rich, diverse option base for you to choose different disciplines, experiences, and future possibilities. We have this really amazing mix of, as I said, academics, practitioners, researchers, and they'll challenge you in the classroom and outside the classroom. And challenge can be a really wonderful thing. You'll grow in many different ways, personally, professionally, as critical thinkers, problem solvers, and as innovators. You'll be able to, in these wonderful spaces that we've just heard about, and you really do have to see these wonderful spaces to believe them, the learning spaces, the labs, the studios will all help you, whether in person or online, stretch the boundaries of your imagination. I know that sounds a little bit cheesy, but it really is true. We'll really test your assumptions of what it is you think you can achieve and support you and elevate you to get there. It really is so important to us as a community that we grow and are challenged by you as well as we work towards that future together. I encourage you to take up every challenge, whether it's large or small, something very small each day, or even a larger challenge for a year or for an entire term. You can even set challenges yourself with other colleagues or indeed with us, making sure that you make the most of all the opportunities that are available to you within the faculty, and indeed immerse yourself in your studies and also within the ADA community. This photo is actually from my first year here at UNSW back in 2014. You might see me there somewhere right in the middle. And these are all of our students in our translation and interpreting program in which I teach. And this is a really important part. So if we recall back just before, I was talking about challenges, collaboration, and creativity, and how these really present in everyday life, as we've just seen, but also throughout all of the experiences you're going to have in the different disciplines that we've been talking about today. And the support network and the community that we have at the university is really important. And I come at this from different points of view. As I said, I've just started in this role 4 weeks ago as Associate Dean, but I've been for the last 8 years a teacher in the School of Humanities and Languages. So I teach in the translation program, I work in linguistics, and I teach languages and work with students in all of these different areas, in Chinese, in Japanese, French, German, Korean, this wonderful mix that we have here. And I've also been a student myself in the faculty in the School of Education, where I've been working, and just last year actually finished a graduate certificate in university learning and teaching. So I really come at this from a different perspective as a student, as a teacher, and then also as the Associate Dean here to guide you through with her fantastic team. So I was talking just earlier about all of the different spaces that we had on campus. The digital spaces, of course, are so important and becoming more important as we go through, but also the physical spaces on campus, the ones that make the experiences at UNSW, whether here in Kensington or in Paddington, really unique. If you haven't taken a campus tour, I really encourage you to do so, and you'll really see what I mean. Here on the right-hand side is the view from my office. The beautiful jacaranda tree you'll see in purple comes out a little bit later in the year. And here on the left is the view from my office at home. And many of you, like me, we've been working from home so much and continue to do so when we need to, whether we're not feeling well ourselves or with different restrictions as they change. But as we've seen in the last few months, things are getting better and better term by term. And as we see in term 2, starting next week, we'll have more and more on-campus experiences. But also not forgetting to include everybody who's with us here in person, across Australia, and indeed overseas. You might have your own comforts and supports at home. This is my little pup Maggie, who helps me along with all of my work in times of stress and in times of need, and I'm sure that, or at least I hope, you have some supports at home, and if not, you have them now through all of us. Challenge is really about learning, growing, and opportunities to challenge and change yourselves, but it's also about self-reflection and the ability to find support and engage with others every step of the way, regardless of who you are, who you want to be, where you've come from, and where you want to go. We're all going and all from somewhere. It's important to reach out to all of these services that we'll hear a little bit about later on when you need them, and even when you don't need them, when things might not be right and when you really want to get some advice and a way forward. You'll find that the university and ADA in particular, and we'll see a little bit more about this in the next section, has a lot to offer. In terms of collaboration, you'll find that ADA is a very collaborative community. We collaborate on a daily basis. I collaborate with people in history, in the arts, in architecture, in ceramics, and it's really, really important and brings a lot of different opinions and perspectives to the table. This means that in the education that you'll have with us in the coming term and in the next couple of years, you'll be making friends, building connections, and building lifelong networks. The person sitting next to you might be the next best friend that you have, your business partner, or somebody you work with again in the future. And that's really, really exciting and really, really interesting to think that even today you can start on this journey with other people. Collaboration, as we've seen in the last couple of years in particular, is key to what we do in our professional lives, in our personal lives, and it's something that's going to really, really stick with us in the future so that we don't become isolated, we can engage, interact, and collaborate. It might mean very small steps at first, asking a question, putting up your hand, asking for help after class, engaging in a discussion in the classroom, giving a group project your best, even though many of us kind of hate group projects sometimes. It's really, really about pushing and challenging for those collaborations. As I've mentioned, personally, I collaborate with lots of different colleagues every day, looking at assessment, opportunities for experiences. We also collaborate with institutions outside of the university, governments, non-governmental organizations, and industry, so that we can give you a wide variety of different opportunities. Learning experiences such as work-integrated learning, which Claire mentioned a little bit earlier, going on internships, practical places, both in Sydney, across Australia, and overseas, in person and online as well. These are really, really important for your readiness as a graduate, look fantastic on CVs, and provide you with a range of experiences you wouldn't ordinarily have had. Lastly, I want to talk about creativity. And as you might expect in a faculty of arts, design, and architecture, we're very, very creative. Creative not just in terms of arts and making things work and look really functional, but also in providing the spaces and the tools and the knowledge in which we can challenge ourselves to be creative in everyday life. We see creativity just not as a tool or an output or a means to an end in a narrow way, but as a way that we view the world and can make changes, to even redesign our lives or redesign the world, not just for us, but for everybody in it. Creativity is about this open-mindedness, the ability to be courageous, to try something new, to fail, for something not to go well, and to come back at it and try something else. We find creativity, and you'll find this in many of your courses in the next few weeks, comes in many forms and iterations. For our people in the arts and media, creativity is editing, writing a script, writing a poem, reading a book, giving it a second shot, reading it out loud, and getting feedback and changing it, seeing what worked and didn't work. It's sketching for artists as they draw, as they come up with blueprints for different parts of their project, for getting feedback, rubbing things out, starting again. It's rehearsing for people in the performing arts, trying something on our own at home, singing aloud as part of the choir, practicing, iterating, and then refining for that final performance. Creativity is really essential in how we've adapted to life in the last couple of years, and it's going to be even more important as we adapt to what comes in the future, the known and the unknowns of everything that life is going to throw at us. Above all, and in closing, I really want to welcome you to the faculty, all of the challenges, the collaborations that are there, and we're really here to help support you in exploring what you're passionate about, what makes you tick, what ignites your mind and your heart, and also the practical sense, speaking to the hand that Claire mentioned a little bit earlier. It's about passion, thought, creativity, and practical outcomes as well, so that you're best equipped to do whatever it is you want in the future and can adapt to all of those trends as they come through. And as I said at the very beginning, and I really meant it, we're here every step of the way along the learning journey that you have with us. We have an extensive network of alumni, and we're really, really proud to see how they develop in their careers, becoming famous designers, authors, performers, historians, diplomats, you name it. We're really, really proud of this in ADA, and I hope in many years' time you'll be in those positions as well and coming back to talk to our future students. Thanks everybody for bearing with us, and I'd like now to hand over to our Student Experience Manager, my wonderful colleague Tierney, who's going to talk to you about all of the supports available within ADA.
Hello everyone, my name is Tierney and my pronouns are she and her, and I'm really delighted to be welcoming you here today. We're really excited to have those of you in the room today and joining us online coming to join us this term. And as you've heard from many people today, that this is a dynamic, challenging and fun faculty to be a part of. I also am a student in ADA. I'm completing my PhD part-time in education while I work in this role. And something I really like about that is it enables me to sort of walk in both shoes, both as a professional staff, but as a member of the student community in ADA. And I use those experiences along with the research and consultation that we do with students to inform our way forward in terms of student experience. So my team does things both inside the classroom and outside the classroom, meaning we run events, activities and social engagements, but we also help inform and shape some of the way that your educational experience rolls out. I'm conscious that today you haven't had a chance yet to hear from our two wonderful student speakers, and I want to make sure that they have the full time to share what they've prepared for you today and to answer any questions on our panel. So I'm just going to, in brief, talk about some of my team's core commitments to you, which are to ensure that your experience is inclusive through our dedication to equity, diversity and inclusion. That means the work that we do to support student equity, diversity and inclusion, but also the way that we train and upskill and support our staff to deliver the best results and support for you. We're adaptive so that we allow the space for you to truly grow and to change your mind along the way. I definitely didn't land where I thought I would be at the very beginning of either of my degrees, but I really appreciated being part of a scenario which allowed for me to try new things, take a risk, fail, and discover some wonderful opportunities along the way. And most of all, it's really important to have fun so that we can learn in an environment that is exciting and challenging and, like Stephen said, really creative in how we mould that. So as a student in ADA and UNSW, you have access to a rich array of opportunities, but also support. And there are too many, in fact, for me to list for you today, but we have a dedicated student experience SharePoint site where you can find out more about these. Your weekly student newsletter is a great place to find out about what's on offer for you. And there's tailored content in that for ADA students, as well as things that are really useful for you more broadly at the institution. Some of that includes internships, study abroad opportunities, student clubs, societies, social events, and engagement opportunities and cross collaborations with other staff and students, both within ADA and more broadly through some of the wider projects that we engage with. So some of the key initiatives I wanted to highlight for you today is that ADA Student Experience SharePoint site. It's a really great place to see what's happening across ADA, to get some helpful resources on support, and to find out different events and activities both throughout the term, but also things you can get involved in that are longer term projects that might help your career development, such as work integrated learning. We have student ambassadors who regularly reach out to our students and run activities. Some of you will get a phone call from them over the next few weeks. We have financial support available both at UNSW and through my team for students in need for resources, materials, emergency funding, scholarships, and different opportunities like that. Always good to keep an eye out for those. And we also have a really fun array of events planned for this term. So you heard a lot about our Paddington campus a little bit earlier. It's really fun, and we're having an open day for everybody in ADA and more broadly to come along on the 1st of June. They're running all sorts of activities, tote bag screen printing, ceramic making, and the staff and students have put on a really wonderful festival style day. And like Claire said, there's a free bus that you can just hop on and head to from Kensington to Paddington in about 20 minutes. So if you have a break after class or before class next Wednesday, I'd encourage you to check it out. And we also have a night out at Vivid on offer for you this term. So that opportunity is going to go live on Monday. But basically, you'll come along to Sydney's most dazzling light show with some of our student ambassadors. If you're an international student, we have a special tour and experience planned for you. And you'll actually get to meet some of the UNSW staff and students who helped create some of the exhibitions in Sydney City. Details on how to sign up for all of these things are always on our SharePoint site, but also in that weekly newsletter that I mentioned. I don't want to take any more time away from our wonderful students today, so if I could invite Jordan to the stage just to share a little bit about his experience with you, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all UNSW students and staff in attendance today. My name is Jordan Itoya, and I'm a proud Wiradjuri man from Narromine, New South Wales. And in 2022, I'm now in the third year of my degree, Social Research and Policy, majoring in Politics and International Relations. Today I'm here to talk to you about my experiences with ADA and adjusting to the new norm, which is university life. As you've probably been told or heard by now, university is no small feat, and being able to attend such a university as UNSW within the ADA faculty with the wide range of support and resources available at your fingertips is a blessing within itself, or at least it is for me. In your first few weeks of classes, once the thrill of O Week has worn off, may be daunting and you may feel completely different once the dust settles. But just know you're not alone. There are hundreds of other students in the exact same boat. In a sense, starting university is like starting a new life or a new chapter of your life. You may feel alone, isolated, but that is all part of adjusting to this new adventure in your life. For me, coming to university was the biggest thing to happen in my life. I never thought I'd be in this position, nor be able to share it with everyone attending today. When I came to university, I knew close to nobody, and only 2 weeks in, I started to think I wasn't built for university life, but I was wrong. As weeks went on, I started to make friends around campus, in colleges, and started connecting with people in my classes. I now realise that it is all part of moulding into a new version of myself, which is the person speaking to you right now. For me, some advice which helped me adjust and still helps me keep my studies and priorities in line were, firstly, networking. Take every opportunity to meet people and expand your network. Create connections in every possible field. Create an image of yourself to people. A well-presented university student with a large network is always a great look, so don't be afraid to introduce yourself at every possible opportunity. Secondly, keeping on track of your study. Before the start of week 1, your classes should be accessible via Moodle. It is always beneficial to browse your course content and, more importantly, the content for week 1, so you have a standing and you're not going in blind. By ensuring that you keep on top of your studies, your stress levels should stay low and it should give you more opportunity to succeed in assignments and exams. While they say university is the best time of your life, it is important to keep your head down and work hard, because the harder you work, the more time you will have to do the more fun things around campus. And utilise the university's support and resources. These will come in handy at one time or another throughout your degree. There is always someone in the UNSW community who is willing to offer a hand in whatever issue you are facing. It is also very important to take your mental health seriously and put it first always. While focusing on study, it is important to maintain your mental health and well-being by having something which will relax your mind and body, which will ultimately give you the best results. Find something which you enjoy away from uni and find the time to fuel your body and mind, because as we all know, nothing good ever comes from stress. Personally, being in my third year of university is daunting. But when I think about it, over the last 3 years, I've utilised the opportunities given to me by UNSW and more specifically, the ADA faculty, and how these opportunities and resources are preparing me to enter the workforce with all the necessary skills and knowledge to excel in my chosen field. Although everything I've been saying may sound pretty scary to you, a first year uni student starting your dream degree at a university as esteemed as UNSW, but don't be concerned. At the end of the day, the duration of your degree will be the best years of your life. You will have your ups and downs, and you may feel alone, but just remember, you're never alone. I'd now like to call upon postgraduate student Fred Wang to the stage.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Jordan, for the introduction. How's everyone going? Good, great. Okay. My name is Fred Wang. I am a current postgrad coursework student in my second and final year in ADA UNSW. My program is Master of Interpreting. Is anyone in that degree by any chance? Over here? No? Over the live stream? Hopefully, yes. Okay, so my undergraduate program was in commerce, although that felt like a million years ago when I finished my bachelor degree. Deciding to pursue a different career path, I decided to join the ADA UNSW to study my postgrad program at the beginning of 2021. I wanted to make use of my language skills to help people who do not speak the same language to communicate with each other. Being a professional interpreter is more than just being bilingual, as you might expect. It involved a lot of academic and professional training and knowledge. And for those people or those students enrolled in Master of Interpreting or Master of Translation or the combined degree for both, you will soon learn that there's so much or so many more things you do not know yet. All right. I'm sure you're all very excited about the next 1.5 years or 2 years of your studies, depending on your program length. From my first-hand experience, I want to assure you that no matter the program you are enrolled in, ADA will be the best place for you in supporting you throughout your studies. Okay, one piece of advice I would like to give to my fellow students, for those who are starting today, is around balancing the commitments of your studies and all the other things in your life. I would like to share some of the tips that I got from my fellow classmates and my lecturers, tutors around time management. Now, for my program, as an example, some subjects do not have final exams. So rather, we have various assessments due throughout the term. So you might go, sweet, that's great, there's no exams. All right? But you have to be very careful because you tend to forget the due time of some of the assessments. All right? So true story, I'm not lying, I almost did in my first term at the beginning of 2021. So my advice is that at the beginning of each term, you mark very clearly in your diary when each assessment is due. And it's always better to give yourself a little bit of buffer just to protect yourself, right? So for example, if an assessment is due today is the 25th of May, I will mark in my diary that it is due on the 23rd, at least 2 days prior, so that if something were to happen, I know I will have that little buffer so that I do not submit my work late. Secondly, I strongly urge you to, wherever possible, attend your classes in person. If participating online, make sure you are as engaged as you possibly can. During my time at UNSW so far, because of the COVID restrictions, some subjects were only offered online. So now that is hopefully no longer an issue for everyone because everyone is here, and hopefully for those who are joining online or over the live streaming will come on campus very soon. Now for all my online classes, I still make sure that I attended all my classes live over Zoom. I know I could watch them at the time that is more convenient to me, for example, over the weekend or at night, but I still attend them live whenever possible. I insist on myself watching them live and, more importantly, participating in class. It's very important for you to participate. Once again, due to my other commitments, this sometimes is not easy, but I always try to schedule my classes well ahead of time so that I can manage attending live. Thirdly, I think for us postgrad students, networking and getting to know people is just as important as taking care of your studies. I echo what Jordan just said. Networking is very, very important. For myself, I try to learn from my lecturers and tutors, not only for their knowledge, but also in preparation for my future career. Now, personally, with the recommendation of my program convener, Professor Sandra Hale, I joined AUSIT. For those of you who haven't heard AUSIT, AUSIT is the Australian Institute of Interpreters and Translators. Now, I have also been making contributions to the Institute. This way, I get to know how the profession works while studying, so that when I graduate, I'm better prepared to become a professional interpreter. Lastly, another way of networking is to join the ARC, where you'll be connected to heaps of opportunities and plenty more. Now, to that, I would like to please introduce you to Steph, who is here to talk to you about ARC. So thank you very much, everyone. I wish you all the best with your studies here at ADA. Thank you.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. Hello to the people joining us in person, and hello to everyone on the live stream today. My name is Steph, and I'm here to talk to you all about ARC. Obviously, I'm going to do a bit of audience participation, so could I get a raise of hands? Who's heard of ARC in the room? Couple hands? Fantastic. Who has done the form online and joined ARC? Still some hands? Who has got that little silver sticker on their ID? Yes, fantastic. You guys are the HD students in my mind. Killing it already. For everyone else, some homework for you, but we'll get to that at the end. Essentially, ARC is all of the stuff outside of the classroom, and we have this thing where we say we want you to experience everything. And instead of me telling you about that, I am going to show you. Fantastic. So you get a bit of an idea of what we are all about. And before we get into me telling you much, much more of all the stuff we do, I've got a challenge for you. And this is the challenge to say hey. So if you are joined with me in the room today, I want you to turn to the person next to you or the few people that are sitting next to you and introduce yourself. What is your name? What are you studying? Maybe another fun fact if you've got one. And for those joining me online, jot those things down. You can take that to your first class, your first speed friending, the first time you interact with someone as well. You'll have your fun fact ready to go. I'm going to give you guys 20 seconds. Go. Okay, I know it's super speedy. That is all the time I'm going to give you guys today. So you can bring your attention back to me and join those friends later. Hopefully you've met someone new today. Maybe this is the first person you have met from your faculty. Maybe this is the first person you've met at UNSW. The friendships begin here, and they will only keep growing and growing. So, now you've got a friend, let's talk about ARC. Let's talk about all of the opportunities to get involved and how you can have an awesome experience at UNSW. The first thing I'm going to talk about is clubs and societies. There are over 300 clubs and societies at ARC. There is something for everyone. The whole idea is that you get to join a bunch of people that you're friends with, maybe you're not, and do something that you care about. My tip for you is to join 3. The first one's your faculty one. There is an art society. They do some awesome things. The second one is to join something you already love. Maybe it's like a sport, maybe it's a cultural group, maybe it's just something that you are passionate about. And the third one is something that you don't know a lot about. Maybe you've never heard of it. Maybe you've always wanted to give it a go. That's the third club that you're going to join. You can find all of it on the ARC website, or if you are in person today, head over to the quad and have some fun at O Week and meet some of the clubs there today. The next thing I'm going to tell you about is sport. At ARC, we have 35 different sporting clubs and different ways to get involved with sport. Whether you are someone that has never played sport before, like myself, definitely not a sporty person, but you can get out, get amongst it, and play social sport with some friends. You can also play competitively though, so if you are someone that loves sport, has a sport they've played forever and they love it, get amongst it and play competitively. You can represent UNSW across Australia at something called Uni Games. You might have also noticed that UNSW is a pretty big place. There is a lot going on and a lot of different people. So we have communities within communities at ARC. There are over 20 programs and projects that you can become a part of. Different things depending on what you like, what you're looking for, whether it's giving back to your peers at UNSW or whether it's looking greater and giving back to the broader community to make that impact in our community. Otherwise, maybe you're really passionate about sustainability. We have a bunch of programs and do a bunch for sustainability. They are some awesome things and awesome ways to get involved. We've also got this program called Volunteers United, which is potentially my favourite. The way that it works, it's all about flexibility. So you get to volunteer when it works for you and for what things that you care about. So Volunteers United is one of the largest programs of its kind in Australia, which is awesome. And it's also just the best way to flexibly get involved. Obviously, we've got to talk about the creative ways that you can do stuff with ARC at the ADA Welcome. So maybe it's about publishing or drawing, designing, filming, taking photos, whatever that might look like for you, ARC has programs for you. Again, they are all on the website and there is different ways for you to join, whether it be programs that are sort of based on main campus at Kensington, or we do have a bunch that operate off Paddington campus as well. And of course, I'm going to talk about wellness. I can't help myself. So, wellness. It's so important that you guys look after yourselves. As a lot of our speakers have mentioned as well, you are the most important part of everything. So putting yourself first, making sure that you're looking after yourself so then you can look after others as well. Maybe it is patting a puppy that makes all the difference, but we do have resources and activities and tips and tricks to make sure that your uni experience can be the best possible one. There is also heaps more. There is so much more that I can't talk about. Again, you can find them on our website, and our socials right here. This is the best place to keep in touch with everything that ARC is doing, to follow us, to make sure that you stay in the know and so that you can experience everything while at UNSW. Thank you so much, guys. It has been awesome chatting with you today. I'm going to introduce Claire to come back up for the beginning of the panel.
Okay, thank you so much. What we're going to do now is invite our speakers back up onto the stage, and we're going to go through some questions that have been coming through on Slido. So could I ask Stephen and Jordan and Fred and Tierney to come back up on stage? And we're just going to take a few minutes to answer some of these questions. I'm just going to get a bit of a sense check about time management. How long should we be aiming for? About 15 minutes. So we're going to maybe keep our answers quite brief, quite to the point, and we'll get through as many as possible.
Do you want to see? Oh, you're right.
No, I'm going to stand. Okay. Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah.
So the first question is, do I have to inform the faculty if I'm attending online offshore? So who would like to take this question? Stephen, would you like to just...
I can speak to that. Thanks, great question. So you'll see when you go into the MyUNSW and you register for the courses that you're enrolling in, you'll see different options there that will tell you if it's on campus or online, and you'll be able to pick. For instance, a lot of courses have, let's say, an online lecture, and they might have a tutorial that's online, and they might have another tutorial that's on campus, and you can choose that. So that's the way that you inform us. There's no need to send us a separate email or anything like that, but you're able to register in the timetabling system, and it does that for you.
Amazing, thanks, Stephen. Next question. I'm not sure about my workload on top of my life commitments. What's a UOC, and what flexibility can I get from my program? So that's actually 3 questions in one. Stephen, tell us what a UOC is, or a UOC. And then Tierney, I'm going to go to you to say a little bit about balancing study on top of work. And Jordan and Fred, I'm sure you've got lots to say about that as well. Stephen.
So the UOC is a unit of credit, and basically most courses have 6 UOC. I know it sounds a bit odd, but you'll get used to it very quickly. Students typically take, when they're full-time, 3 courses in a term. So each course being 6 UOC, you'd have 18 UOC in total. Most of the courses have 6 UOC, but some of them, really large ones, might have 12. But predominantly, 6 UOC is 1 course.
Amazing. How do you balance study with the rest of your life?
Yeah, I think that's the perpetual question for lots of students, right? And I think we're really aware of that as an institution, that you are balancing lots of different things. And like I said, I'm a student in the faculty as well, so definitely something that I learn alongside. I think some of the tips that I've seen work the best for students over my years have been, 1, don't assume you're going to be as fast at things in your first year as you will be in your last. So your first year of uni is a lot of different types of learning, right? Like, how do you find a room? How do you make friends? Learning a new system. So giving yourself a little bit of grace in that some things are going to take a little longer than you maybe would like them to, and allowing yourself, if your course permits, to maybe look at doing the 2 courses a little earlier in your first year rather than the 3. You can always, choose 3, and then before census, if you're finding it too much, withdraw from 1, making sure you keep your full-time load. That does change a little bit if you're an international student. Finding a buddy, so find someone who's an accountability buddy, a study buddy, and setting some dedicated study time aside, so that then that's the time that you're studying, and then other hours are spent, going out, making friends, working, doing your family commitments. And just my rule of thumb is, if you haven't done it before, assume it's probably going to take you double as long as you think it will, and that's going to give you a really nice buffer. You might surprise yourself and it might not take that long, but then at least you've got that time up your sleeve.
Jordan, what would you add to that?
Yeah, I think it's all about priorities. Like, I'm talking about your workload on top of your life commitments. I think it's about prioritising. Obviously, family comes first, and then however else you want to go about that. But I feel like, it's just about prioritising, keeping your workload inside your limits. I think that's a big one as well. Like, it's hard to succeed when you have too much work. It's just about finding your limits in your first term or first year. Doesn't matter how long it takes, but I think, that's a big part of it.
Great advice. Fred?
I think, as I said in my speech, it's really important to plan ahead with respect to all your priorities, your studies, your work, your families, and all that. I just wanted to also add, if there were situations where you realized, oh, well, I'm not going to make the deadline for this assessment, or I'm going to miss out an important task, make sure you reach out well ahead of time. Let your lecturer know, let your tutor know that, well, you are in sort of a bit of situation that you need a bit of help, you need a bit of extension of your for the assessment to be submitted. Just let them know beforehand.
Amazing. Am I able to do an international exchange throughout my program? This is a question from Key. Stephen, I'm going to go back to you again.
Yeah, of course. So exchange is open to all university students, and depending on the program in which you're enrolled, you might be able to take a lot of exchange, like a full year or maybe just a term, but it's open to everybody, and there are a range of opportunities that change over time. They can be online, and if you're really stuck, they can be within Australia, international, in terms of Europe. Really, the world is your oyster. But depending on your program and other individual requirements, we'd have to talk through some of those details. But overall, yes, exchange is open to all.
And it's really great that we can go back to offering overseas exchange, because that just hadn't been possible for the last couple of years. Okay, if you would go back and change things in your first year of study, what would you do differently? Jordan, what would you do differently?
I guess just prepare more. Like, kind of came in blind. I was in college, one of the colleges, so obviously you come to university, have a bit of fun, but you got to really balance that fun with the studies and put your studies like first before going out and having fun with your friends. I think that's the only thing I'd change.
Fred, you're nodding.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so important that you try to connect with people on campus. If you can do that in person, that is so good. Otherwise, for myself, because as I said, a lot of the subjects were online, or at least some of them were online. I try to do that remotely with my friends, with my classmates as well. That makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Yeah.
Okay, we've got a question here from R. Can we have options for online tutorials where days in our schedules that it could be done in a virtual way? Because I actually had 2 of them, but one is in person. Tierney? Do you want to unpick that one?
Yeah, so I'm just going to reread so I've understood. So there will be courses that are available to you with an online tutorial, and then some that are face-to-face. So if you, for instance, can't make the online tutorial, maybe the course was full, getting on the wait list is a really good idea, messaging the course convener to see, if there's any extra wiggle room in that online tutorial. But that really does depend a little bit on the course itself, but always worth seeing what tutorials are running, what modes are they running in, and can you enroll in a different one, get on a wait list, because people do, shift and change a little bit in that first week. So don't always assume that because something's full, a spot might not open up. And if I could just add to the question before about what I would change in my first year, my advice would be to please read your course outline. And I say this in my role here, but as someone who epically failed their first exam ever at uni and thought, that was it, my life was over, I was never going to be able to speak Spanish. As it turned out, I just didn't know how to read a course outline, and had I known, I would have known what to actually study for that exam. So that thing, if you read, I shouldn't say that. You read nothing else at the beginning, of your degree, and each term in your course, that course outline printed out. It's got your assignment due dates on it. It's got your readings for each week. It's got what you are getting assessed on. Like, that is the thing that I would really be looking for and focusing on.
Amazing.
And that course outline will be on the Moodle page at the very top when you go in there, so you can't miss it.
All right, does everybody know what Moodle is? Yeah, just... Okay, good.
Yeah, I see maybe some of you have used it before.
So just say what Moodle is.
So Moodle is a website in which we've got all of the courses material. So it's called a learning management system, basically like a Dropbox or Google Drive for all of the files in your course. And you'll come to know it and love it. It's really visually attractive and easy to use. You'll see Moodle everywhere, really easy to use. It'll take you 10 minutes, I promise.
Okay, we've got a few more questions that I'm just going to whiz through quickly. The one at the top at the moment is, how challenging is university studying in one of the programs in ADA? So I guess that's a question for Fred. I'm going to start with you and then go to you, Jordan.
Sure. it's really about self-management. I think, especially for me, myself, as a mature age student doing my master's, it is so important that you manage your time wisely, you go to your classes, and echoing what Stephen said earlier, make sure you check your Moodle pages at least once a day. Make sure you check your emails, your student emails, at least once a day. Because the last thing you want is a situation where your tutor or your lecturer may have sent you something, but you only realize that important announcement 3 days after. That's too late, right? So make sure, please, you check all your emails and everything regularly.
Okay. Jordan, what's your tips? Oh, no, not tips. How challenging is it? Sorry.
Well, I think university is supposed to be challenging, so I think it's just how you handle it. Like, obviously, as Fred just said, time management, that's a big one. Just staying on top of your work and not letting anything kind of delay you, like keeping on top of all your work constantly. I feel like if you do that, then it will ultimately help you in the long run.
Amazing, thank you. There's a question which is, I didn't get to see the student experience slide, so can you please preview the slide so you can get the QR codes?
Yeah.
Jenny, where can we get the QR codes?
So all of the questions that got asked today, we're going to summarise the answers because we know that you can't possibly retain everything, and all the links, the QR codes are going to be available to you and sent out so that you can have all the links and all the things we spoke about.
Amazing, thank you. Two more questions? Yeah, I've got time for two more questions. So the first is, I've noticed courses I'd like to do with no specified term offerings. Do I inform my interest to the lecturer or the faculty, and depending on demand, it may run? So what would you say there, Stephen?
So we have a couple of different places where you can get information about courses. One is the handbook. So think of a physical handbook, but it's a digital format. And on the right-hand side, for every course in the handbook, it'll tell you the term in which a course is offered. So if you don't find that information there, when you go into the My UNSW and you try to enroll or register in a course, let's say you pick Term 2, 2022, you can search through the listing there term by term. If the information still isn't showing up for you, contact us and we can help you find it. But it should be there in the handbook or in the My UNSW page.
Okay, are all online lectures recorded so that it can be watched later, including the online tutorials and studio classes? Tierney.
So not all studio and tutorials are recorded because a lot of it is about live dynamic interaction between students, and some of our courses, are very hands-on, and so you need to be physically there doing that, but that's why those ones are maybe run in person. Lectures, yes, the absolute majority are recorded. Would totally suggest going back to them and re-watching them again closer to an exam or an assessment. That is really helpful. And there will be some other forms of classes that may be recorded, but ones where people are really sharing their personal opinions or engaging in practical learning, most often will not be, for the obvious reasons that it's not quite conducive to that.
Okay, I said I was going to do one more question, but I'm actually going to throw in one more because I think it's important. How many units of credit, or UOC at least, do we have to gain each year? And is it the same for international students and domestic students? Stephen?
So this UOC, again, the 6 units of credit is one course. That's the really, really important thing. For domestic students, you can do at least one course each term. So you could do 3 courses over the term. For international, depending on your visa requirements, you would have to do full-time, studying full-time being 3 courses per term. So essentially, it would be at least 1 each term or max 3 if you're an international student. But happy to follow up with anybody if you have specific questions for your own circumstances.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time joining this Welcome to ADA this afternoon. Thank you, Tierney. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Stephen, for your time as well and taking us through all of those questions. For those of you who are in the room, thank you so much for coming along. Make sure you leave with your bag of ADA goodies, and look forward to seeing you soon. Good luck with your studies and take care. Bye.
Thanks so much.